What is your name and where are you from?
My name is Omar Myers, and I'm from Washington, D.C.
Nice to meet you, Omar.
But as well.
Uh, so, Omar, what do you do for a living right now?
I'm currently an acting head administrator for a small Hagwon-like school in Virginia. It is an English institute, and I help with the hiring and firing. I do teach a few classes. I deal with parents. I deal with the needs of the students. I handle some logistical things. I plan field trips. I pretty much try and, well, I do everything that I can because it's a small group.
Okay. So, Omar, I hope I don't throw you off here. I'm gonna ask you a strange question. If you were a musical instrument, what would you be and why?
If I was a musical instrument, what would I be?
Yeah.
It cut off. Uh, um,
Take your time, because I know I'm throwing you off here.
uh, I would probably be a clarinet.
Clarinet.
Um,
Exactly why? Why clarinet?
because the clarinet was the instrument that my favorite musician uh, used. His name is Artie Shaw from the 30s. He's a jazz musician from the 30s. And when I hear the clarinet, it completely mesmerizes me. And when I've heard everyone else listen to the clarinet the way he played it, it completely mesmerized him. So if I was an instrument, I would want to be the clarinet played by Artie Shaw.
Beautiful answer. Couldn't have done better myself. So next, Omar, why do you like teaching or why do you want to be a teacher?
Um, I discovered teaching through college. Uh, I had never thought about becoming a teacher. I'd always wanted to be a counselor. So when I was approached this opportunity to teach some of my peers, I took it and I loved it. And it was recommended to me to continue teaching, and I did it. And I fell in love with teaching. I teach English right now. I also teach I teach a certain form of partner dancing, which I'll discuss later.
Really, yeah, I would love to ask you, Omar, how did you become involved teaching your peers? Like,
Um,
what was the opportunity? How did it come about?
well, when I was in college, I was a part of a global communities program. It's actually called Global Communities, and it's a living learning program that takes international students and domestic students and puts them in a dorm together and makes them discuss world issues of the moment. So in our classes, it can be quite difficult because some of the students' English is not up to par, and sometimes we as Americans, we don't realize how much slang we use and how much luxuries we take with the language. So I was approached by Asian students to help them understand some of the slang that they hear on a day-to-day basis, trying to understand the conversations they have in the dorm. So I thought it'd be a pretty cool idea, and I love the students. They were a super cool group that semester. So I said, yeah, why not? So we had informal sessions in the classroom, and we had it for about a month. And after the month ended, one of the students told me, Omar, you should do this abroad. You should teach English abroad because the how I get information across, how I can break down where these slang bits actually come from, and explain it to them so they understand. They understand what it means, but they also understand that there is some cultural context involved that helps to just enrich their grasp of the language. They also really love that. So I had it. I had it in my head. I got a job teaching English at a nearby English institute, and I really loved that. I taught adults, and that was my first time in a formal classroom setting, and it was amazing. So after I finished that job, I thought to myself, why don't I do this for a career? Because I loved it so much, and I did it.
And Omar, you said that's a wonderful reason. I'm sure that definitely was the reason that inspired you. So um, how long you do have experience abroad in Asia? Can you just tell me a little bit about that? When you went, how long you were there for, how it was?
I was there, I believe. I'm not very good with dates, but I believe it's from 2008 until the end of mid 2012.
So about for 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years, and it was. I got a job teaching kindergarten the first time, and it was really scary teaching 5-year-olds because I taught adults before, and so it was. I studied about how to handle kids, and I've had my family's quite big, so we have a lot of young kids. So I've had experience with young kids, but it's very different, obviously, when you're in a classroom setting. But they, it was it was a really great experience, and I learned so much from teaching kids, and it made me a lot more versatile teacher, I believe, from that experience teaching the young children.
Absolutely, that's wonderful. Omar, next is how would you be a good coworker with employees? Maybe with employees that you might not get along with as well. How could you work well?
Um, I I haven't actually had a situation where me and a coworker don't get along explicitly. That's very uncommon for me. I find myself to be more or less affable. So I know in Korea there's a strong unit vibe when it comes to the coworkers, and like when everyone goes out, everyone should go out, not just if you don't go out with your coworkers at the night, it's like a it's not necessarily a good thing. So I always try to get my coworkers out. I always try to be the one to initiate events with the Korean and foreign teachers, get them together, because I wanted to tie it into the way my international program was in school, where we had the domestic students and the foreigners get together and have great discussions about everything. So I wanted to do the same thing when I was in Korea. So I would take them out to dinner, or I wouldn't pay for it, but uh, we would all
That's
go
how you
out.
get people to like you, by buying them things.
I know, but I would choose a really nice place, and then afterwards I would take them out to Lindy Hop. Lindy Hop is a social partner dance, and that's one of my favorite ways of trying to get my coworkers together. Because I feel as we all kind of learn something together for the first time, it brings us closer in all other parts of our life. So it really helps to affect the dynamic of the workplace when we all kind of know each other and share this experience together.
Yeah, that's really wonderfully put. Omar, something else I was going to ask you. Clearly, you have experience and were able to keep yourself active and happy. Um, but speak in your regards, but also in regards to other teachers. How would you suggest, or how do you stay happy um, and adapt while abroad in another country?
Um, One thing that I've learned in traveling, as much as I've been fortunate to travel, is I try and make routines for myself, and I try and make routines that get me out with to meet new people. So in Korea, I had it in my head. Anytime I travel for and I stay in a place for more than a month, I would find a basketball court and I would play basketball at the same place at the same time every day. So there normally you're going to find people that come in the evenings around 8 or 9 o'clock. So I play basketball, and ultimately there will be someone who's going to approach me and talk to me because I'm a foreigner. I talk like a foreigner. I don't talk like them. I don't understand the language, and that person becomes my best friend. And that person is the one that really helps to open uh, the world, that country to me. So in Korea, it was very fun because I did it for 3 weeks before someone would talk to me. It was so strange because I'm used to people kind of talking to me after the like second day or third day and getting to know people. But in Korea, it took 3 weeks. Maybe they're shy. I don't know. So
Sure,
uh, they
a
so
little intimidated.
the guy he called himself Leo, um, and He said, "I remember you from 2 weeks ago, and I really like your basketball skill, but my English is not so good." I said, "Oh yeah, no problem, man, no problem. Come, let's go out. Let's go out. Bring your friends. Let's go out." So I treated them out to a night, a bar, and they had a blast, and it was really fun to get to know them. And then
Sure.
they helped me really get used to the country. They helped give me not give me you know help me understand how to get around in
Yeah.
Korea, because at that time I'd only go into basketball court, grocery store, home. That's it, because I didn't know where else I could go. So they really
Sure.
opened my eyes to how to travel in Korea and how to just live. And I made a lot of really good friends from developing a social network outside of expats and making my social network mainly consist of Korean people. I find that when you're friends with a lot of expats, um, you have that kinship that yeah, you're outsiders in a foreign country, but it's also keeping you from being engaged, because I find that friends with expats makes you, it's like kind of a crutch into your stay, and I want to completely immerse myself. I took time to learn the language. I got to maybe a below intermediate level, and then I've tried to speak it the other day with a Korean person. I just failed miserably, but
It's probably because you've been away for too long, but I bet
yeah,
you pick it right back up.
I haven't used it at all.
Yeah.
I'd really like to immerse myself in the culture and have